Hey guys, welcome to another episode of El Jardín Perdido. Today we're going to change things up a little bit and we're going to do a little story time. My heart is heavy today and I had an experience with some lessons learned and I wanted to share that with you guys today. So I know a lot of my videos are either vlogging or sharing, mostly informative, positive things, positive experiences. But in debating whether to even make this video, I do think it's important to show the reality of whether it's permaculture, farming, urban homesteading. There are realities that come along, and today I got hit pretty hard by one. My main thing here is to share with you guys from my experience, and that's what we're going to do. So as it goes, my one goat, Jolene, who I actually did a video back in early spring on delivering her kids, she was pregnant again, actually by her son, which isn't uncommon amongst goats. See, my thing is I didn't want to let her kids go, which, I was taking a more holistic approach. I let them nurse through their entire duration, doing all the right things. Instead of doing what most people would do, which is, knowing exactly when mating takes place, this and that, etc. I kind of let it happen organically, which I don't necessarily regret, but it does play a role in this. So basically, yeah, it's pretty evident that she's pregnant. I'm seeing signs that she's getting pretty close to kidding. A big part of this factor is during the times we're in right now, masks and all that. I've grown accustomed to working at home, and actually part of this story is that when I delivered her kids for the first time, I kind of took that for granted. I wasn't at work, I was tentative. I, literally just walked outside, heard her cries, and knew it was go time, which was pretty awesome. It was a really lovely experience, actually. I'd been accustomed to working at home up until this week. We got called in to start working at the office again, which I, somewhat dreaded. It's always hard to be away from your passion. So today when I'm feeding the goats, I see some signs that, it could be within the next 24 to 48 hours. So, I'm rushing to work, but I do get somewhat proactive, and I'm eyeing up the blink camera in the front on my way out, and I'm like, okay, hatch an idea, rip it off there, and I tied it around a tree so I could monitor the goat pen, so I could know what was going on. Work was pretty busy, but I did find time, every hour or so to at least kind of check on things, make sure things were okay. I did keep my eye on her, and then I guess I got pretty tied up around 1 or 2 o'clock after lunch. I didn't even have lunch yet, and we have some deadlines, and I'm crunching and this and that, and in the midst of things when they're kind of slowing down, I go to check the camera, and I see that I see the placenta. I see that it's go time. And so everyone has a different approach in the scenario. Some people are very active, some people like to be hands-on, which I do. But there's also the approach of, kind of let nature do its thing. And so when I was confronted with this 30 minutes away, mind you, at my office, I had that crossroad, and I was talking to my manager, and luckily my manager actually cares for stray dogs and this and that, and she's in all sorts of programs and stuff. So, I kind of shared that with her, gave her the synopsis. She knew what was going on. I actually showed her, the footage that I had on my phone, because I can see the camera here. And yeah, eventually, I got the okay to get out there. Of course, I'm a half hour away. Placenta's already out. She's, already pushed one through. And so, I'm trying not to panic, and I get there and I'm playing over things in my head. What do I need to grab? Syringe, towels, Another factor in this is the weather lately has been fluctuating quite a bit. I think yesterday it was like 65, 70, and then today it plummets to 50. I get home, I grab everything that I need on the way out, you know, have my phone ready, hit record, go to assess everything, and I see that she's had one out that's next to her that seems okay, and then she's just cleaning the other one. She had two, although I was anticipating and kind of waiting to see if she had more. But yeah, so I'm helping her clean this one off, and it's looking pretty grim. So already I'm like, I do my best to help her warm it up. I could feel like the bottom torso is still pretty warm, and so whatever had gone wrong was pretty recent. But I checked all the vitals I could, and even, you know, tried to warm everything up as best as I could. And that was one down that had passed. So yeah, that already hit me pretty hard. And there came a point where, you know, I kind of had to call that a loss and put that to the side and focus on the other one. And so it's 50 degrees. It's not too windy or anything. For whatever reason, the mom insists on kidding in the middle of the pen rather than the nice shack full of hay that she has. I even tried to coax her in the midst of it all to get back over there, but she was pretty insistent on, maybe it was because the placenta, maybe she was cleaning the placenta still. For the most part, this little doe, actually named her Dahlia, was pretty excited about her, and this little doe was all dried up for the most part, and she was doing pretty well. She didn't, you know, hop right up like the first batch I had. She wasn't that vocal. And so I know one of the first things that you need to do after getting them dried and warmed up is to get that colostrum. So that was one of my first things, and I did notice I almost had to kind of force it on her. I got her on. She didn't really latch. I made sure, you know, I cleared her udder first, and then once I got her on there, I kind of slowly squeezed a little in there just to get the taste in her mouth and such. And she got a little bit down, but she wasn't really animately going at it. And so I'm looking at the time, I got pretty wrapped up here. Things seemed pretty stable. And so Mom was laying down. I put her in proximity to her udder. She kind of at this point should know where to find it. And I kind of packed the hay around her and made like a little hay bed for her. And everything seemed pretty cool. So it was about time to go pick up my kids from daycare. And I had some other quick errands that I kind of neglected that I'd usually do on the way home from work. And so once I got my kids, gathered everything I needed, I get back, and this entire time, you know, I'm torn between the responsibility and this and that. And the second I even left to pick up my kids, my first thing was like, well, I should have just brought them inside, you know, because it's kind of chilly. Not that I would love an adult doe in my house stomping around, and I don't really have anything partitioned, but I wanted to make sure baby got warmed up and everything was cool. So I'm thinking this, and finally we get home, and I go, and the kids are excited because I showed them some footage, and you know, I was pretty optimistic. But we get home, and Dahlia's gone too. So I've had mishaps in the past, and I have chickens, and this one hit pretty hard because I didn't exactly deliver her, but you know, I was bonding with Mom. It was really close, and it hit real close to home. And you know, I was torn because yeah, it was my responsibility to pick up the kids and this and that, but I guess it's the grand scheme of things. You guys see my channel. I don't know if you know that I'm a single father of 2 kids. I don't know if you know that I work full-time and I work freelance with video too. But this model I'm trying to create is for the everybody. You know, not everyone, not people who live in lofts and don't have a yard or anything. But it's for the people who, you know, might live in the city, they might have a little bit of land, and the people who have responsibilities. There's a lot of facets, like I said, but I don't regret taking care of my responsibilities, but there are times where it's like, you know, I want to get, if I had it my way, I'd be out in my yard 24/7 and just get lost in it and practically shack up with the goats and chickens myself. But reality is that, you know, we have different priorities in life. We live in the society we do, and you know, I'm multitasking a lot with what I'm doing here, and I'm really trying to make a model and share that with you guys and everyone possible to, you know, I'm not trying to be off-grid 100% self-sufficient, but to find, you know, a certain medium where it's plausible to grow a lot of your food and to source, you know, milk and eggs. So along with, you know, the working at home thing and, you know, getting sent back off and responsibility and other things, it caught me off guard having to go in this week whereas if I had a little more leisure time, I really would have set things up a little more properly too, and even monitored things a little better. So yeah, it's just me sharing the reality of, you know, you think they're wild, it's instinctual, and we forget that they're domesticated, and, you know, they're not where they'd usually be. So things are different. Animals, especially domestic animals, need a bit of intervention at times, and I couldn't be there. In hindsight, there's a possibility of hypothermia, there's a possibility of premature, there's a possibility of deficiency, or I didn't see any visible deformities, but there's a lot of factors to play in. I guess in a scenario where I couldn't be there, I'd have to be a little more proactive in the future. This just happened a few hours ago, so I'm still kind of beating myself up over it. It's not always la-di-da, and I'm sure you see videos like this all the time, but I think they're helpful. So I don't want to drag this on too much or dwell too much. Not everything is organic, not everything is this harmonious symphony of nature. We all know that nature can be cruel, and you know, things can happen. Yeah, so hopefully this wasn't a complete bummer for you guys. You know, it has a little different tone than most of my videos, but this happened. Of course, I was ready to, you know, film this birth and all this stuff and share it with you guys, but I was also ready to sweep this whole thing under the rug like it never happened. But I thought that essentially even me venting kind of is beneficial, but hopefully for you guys it's beneficial, and for you guys who've had your own mishaps, you know, hopefully that's one of the first things that happened. I actually felt real embarrassed because I posted, you know, a video of her, and I was like, you know, presenting Dahlia, you know, all stoked about it, and that was my mindset before I picked up the kids, like, oh, this is awesome, you know, I lost one, but I have one. And a friend who actually gave us their mother, the doe, you know, was inquiring, and then I had to break that news to him, and I took down the post. You know, I got all these likes and stuff too, because it's, of course, it's a cute little baby doe, and yeah, right away I took it down after it happened to just not even hear anything about it. And he was inquiring, and I broke my news to the friend, and, you know, we went back and forth a little bit, and his thing was like, don't beat yourself up over it, because we lost, you know, this and that. All this stuff happened with us, so. But it's what you do with it, what you take away from it. And so hopefully you guys can gain a little insight from what I'm sharing with you. Alright, so that's going to do it. If you found any of this interesting or helpful, check out some of my other videos. Maybe if this was kind of a downer for you, you know, go watch something positive, whether it's on my channel or something else. But I do think it's important to share the struggles. I'm going to wrap this up. You were here through this much of it. Thanks for listening, and feel free to put some insights down below without being ugly. I know people have their opinions, but yeah, I'm doing the best I can here, multitasking, and like I said, trying to create a realistic model for the average person to follow, to put our society, away from this consumerism and be a little more self-sufficient. So thanks for listening, guys. Until next time.